Hey there, this is Ari Menard Mitrava for Monks of the Way for the weekly Truth Talk. And I had a sound issue before, and I guess I think I've resolved it. Again, another sound issue, but I think that's resolved. I'm going to go right into it today because of the sound issue that I had, and I'm not sure if people know it's working or not, but I'm going to go ahead and start just right off the bat. Today it's going to be the Abhaya Raja Kumara Sutta, and that means Prince Abhaya and the boy. So the prince and the boy. And there are important aspects to this, and I'll go through them. And this is also a translation that I myself had retranslated, gone through to make it understandable in American English and for the content as it was produced there. Once again, there's no real word for word translation of these things. So translation is pretty important, and you should be skeptical of people's translations, definitely. But the stuff in it's true or it's not true. It is wise, it is productive, it is good for one and all, or it's not. When you have it in practice, you can prove it or you can't, kind of thing. So, the prince and the boy. I'll go into that now. I heard that on one occasion, the Blessed One was staying near whatever particular Bamboo Grove Monastery, the Squirrel Sanctuary, as it was known. At the time, Prince Abhaya went to see Nagatha Naputa, who had sent for him. And when he got there, he bowed down to him and sat at one side. It was the custom. Right away, as he did, this Nagatha Naputa said to him, "Please, Prince, prove wrong the words of the contemplative Utama, the Buddha. And because people admire you, the account of your proof of his wrong view will spread really far. They'll say the words of the contemplative Utama that is so mighty, so powerful, was proven wrong by Prince Abhaya. But how, he asks, respectable and wise sir, will I prove wrong the words of the contemplative Utama that is so mighty, that is so powerful?" He says, "Please, Prince, go to the contemplative Utama, and on arrival say this: Respectable and wise sir, would the one who has gone beyond, the transformed one, say words that are negative and disagreeable to others?" Now, if the contemplative Utama asked this, says, "The one who has gone beyond would say words that are negative and disagreeable to others," then you should say, "Then how is this any different? Is there any difference between you, respectable and wise sir, and the everyday average people? Because even common people say words that are negative and disagreeable to others." But if the contemplative Utama asked this, says, "The one that has gone beyond would not say words that are negative and disagreeable to others," then you should say, "Why then, respectable and wise sir, did you say of Devadatta that Devadatta is headed for poverty of spirit, that he's headed for damnation and suffering, that he'll boil for a lifetime, that he's stuck?" Because Devadatta did get upset and angry at those words of yours. When the contemplative Utama is asked this two-pronged question by you, he won't be able to swallow it down or spit it up. Just as a two-horned chestnut were stuck in a man's throat, he would not be able to swallow it down or spit it up. In the same way, when the contemplative Utama is asked this two-pronged question by you, he won't be able to answer one way or the other without being wrong. Responding, "As you say, wise sir," Prince Abhaya got up from his seat, bowed down to Nagatha Naputa, walked all the way around him, and then went to the Blessed One. And on arrival, he bowed down to the Blessed One and sat to one side. And as he was sitting there, he glanced up at the sun, and he was thinking to himself, "Today is not the time to prove wrong the Blessed One's words. I'm not ready. Tomorrow in my own house, I'll overturn the Blessed One's words." So he said to the Blessed One, "May the Blessed One, together with three others, indulge me and accept my offer of tomorrow's meal." So you can see there he's asking him to go and bring witnesses too. The Blessed One did indulge him and accept with his nod and silent smile. Then The prince, understanding the Blessed One's indulgence and acceptance, got up from his seat, bowed down to the Blessed One, walked all the way around him, and left. Now then, after the night had passed, the Blessed One got up early in the morning, put on his robes, and carrying his bowl and outer robes, went out to go to his house, the prince's house. Apparently it was a long way out because he got up early in the morning. Must have been some walk. On arrival, he sat down on a seat made ready just for him. Prince Abhaya, with his own hands, served and satisfied the Blessed One with fine, common, and exotic foods, all three types. The Blessed One had eaten and had removed his hand from his bowl, as was the traditional sign of being finished. So Prince Abhaya took a lower seat and sat down to one side. As he was sitting there, he said to the Blessed One, "Respectable and wise sir, would one who has been beyond say words that are negative and disagreeable to others?" And Buddha answered right off the bat. He says, "Prince, there's no simply yes or no answer to that." And certainly you might see why. And the prince said, "Then there, respectable and wise sir, the Nagathas are destroyed." An odd thing to say, right? Prince, I know the Nagathas and their teachings, like there is one answer to every question, and that if there is any good in something, then it is simply good. But if there is no good in something, it is simply bad. Still, Prince, why do you mention the Nagathas right now? Well, he says, just yesterday, respectable and wise sir, I went to Nagatha Naputa. He paused. He said to me, he paused again, "Please, Prince, go to the contemplative Utama and on arrival say this. Respectable and wise sir, would one who has gone beyond say words that are negative and disagreeable to others?" Well, he told me that just as if a two-pronged chestnut were stuck in a man's throat, that you'd not be able to swallow or spit it up. That in this way, you, the contemplative Yatama, are asked this two-pronged question of me, you won't be able to answer without being wrong. Now, at this particular time, his baby boy was laying face up in the prince's lap. So the Blessed One said to the prince, "What do you think, prince? Answer me as you like. If this little boy, through your own fault or that of the babysitter, were choking on a stick or a rock stuck in his throat, what would you do?" And he says, "Well, I'd take it out, respectable and wise sir. If I couldn't get it out right away, then holding his head with my left hand and with a bent finger of my right, I'd fish it out, even if it meant drawing blood." And so he asks, "Well, why is that?" He says, "Because I feel sorrow for the misfortune of the little boy." And he says to him, "In the same way, prince, in the case of words that the one who has gone beyond knows to be speculation, untrue, unproductive, negative, and disagreeable to others, he doesn't say them. Now, in the case of words that the one that has been beyond knows to be factual, true, unproductive, negative, and disagreeable to others, he doesn't say them. In the case of words that the one has been beyond knows to be factual, true, productive, but negative and disagreeable to others, he has a sense of the proper time for saying them. In the case of words that the one who has gone beyond knows to be speculation, untrue, unproductive, but enduring and agreeable to others, he does not say them. In the case of words that the one who has gone beyond knows to be factual, true, unproductive, but endearing and agreeable to others, he does not say them. In the case of words that the one that has gone beyond knows to be factual, true, productive, and are not endearing and agreeable to others, he has a sense of the proper timing for saying them. Why is that? Because the one who has gone beyond feels sorry for living beings. So he sums it up, these categories of why you would say something or you wouldn't say something according to his system. You can see that he cares if things are factual. If they're not factual, he doesn't say them, even if the rest of the things are true. You can see that he wants things to be productive, but if the rest of the things aren't true, he won't say them. He doesn't want things to be negative and disagreeable to others, but if they are or they aren't, it depends on the other things. It's not whether they're negative and disagreeable to others that makes a difference to him in saying them or not, but he does have a sense of when to say these things. I'll give you an example. At a guy's funeral, probably wouldn't be the time to call someone on saying he was generous or kind when he obviously wasn't, and mention his many times he proved otherwise. That, sure, it's true. It might even be productive. It certainly isn't the right time. Certainly not. But, maybe somehow it is. The person should have a sense of when it was the right time. Well, after he gives these conditions to him, he goes, "Respectable and wise sir." Yes, that lost my place there. I knew it had to do with asking about if he makes up these answers on the spot. In the respectable and wise sir, nobles or priests, householders or contemplatives, having formulated questions, come to the one who has been beyond, and they ask of him. Uh, these questions are his answers prepared beforehand. He says, if those who approach me ask me something, I, having been asked, will answer just like that. He says, but does the one who has been beyond come up with the answer on the spot? He says, in this case, Prince, I'll answer your question with a question, and you can answer however you like. He says, knowing full well, Buddha did know full well that chariot manufacture was the business of the prince. And the enlightened one asked the question, what do you think? Are you skilled in the parts of the chariot? And he's like, yes, respectable and wise sir, I'm skilled in the parts of the chariot. He says, well, and what do you think when people come to ask you, what is the name of this part of the chariot? Do you prepare your answer beforehand, thinking to yourself, now, if those who come to me, ask for advice, ask me this, being asked, I'll answer just like that? Or do you come up with the answer on the spot? He says, respectable and wise sir, I am well known for being skilled in the parts of a chariot, and it's what I do. All the parts of the chariot are well known to me, so I come up with the answer on the spot. So he tells him, in the same way, Prince, when wise royals or priests, estate owners, or renowned thinkers have put together questions, they come to the one who's been beyond and they ask them of him. He comes up with the answer on the spot. Why is that? It's because the essence of truth now lives inside the one who has gone beyond. From the essence of truth now living inside, he comes up with the answer on the spot. And I think this is important to note here, the parallel to the later teachings of Jesus, where he says that the truth lives inside. But we won't get into that right now. When he said that, he said, magnificent. He said, respectable and wise sir, magnificent. Just as if he were to place upright what is overturned, to reveal what is hidden, to show the way to one who is lost, or to carry a lamp in the dark, so that those with eyes could see the shapes of the things there. In the same way has the Blessed One, through many lines of reasoning, made the truth clear. I go to the Blessed One for refuge, to the truth, and to the community for his monks. May the Blessed One remember me as a lay follower who has gone to him for refuge from this day forward for life. He's professing his lifelong commitment to be a follower of the teachings of Buddha. Not to be a monk, don't get me wrong, he's a royal, he's not giving that up, but this is an example of the things that were common for Buddha. He was out there debating the truth of his teachings, and it was normal. That's what monks tried to do. They tried to share the teachings, and when asked, they tried to debate the truth of those teachings. I'm not going to say they were so successful like Buddha was, certainly, but they tried. That was what they did. They didn't just share teachings as a dogma. They shared these teachings as a living understanding of truth, universal truth. So it was not that they hid in a monastery and sometimes they went out in a rare case and collected money. No, all of them went out. They cycled through. All of them went out in teams of two, and they did collect offerings, but they also were sharing truth with people and also helping them out with stuff that they needed that they were doing. A monk might carry somebody's package for them because they were tired and old. They might fix someone some food who was lame or sick and couldn't do it for themselves, and make sure they're taken care of. They might help someone painting their fence. They might do a lot of things. These monks were not people that just go out and take from the community. They were a linchpin of the community. And I think as time goes forward, we're going to see that that happens again, that there's going to be a reformation under the teachings of Buddha of monks being active in the world, that we're going to have monks that are, and we have seen the Dalai Lama do this. We've seen him go out and even debate the truth of some teachings. I'm actually really pleased with the job that Dalai Lama has done. I know that there's a lot of controversy over some of it, but it's a hard world, and if you're going to spread truth in it, you're going to make waves. I'm actually surprised that the Dalai Lama was not murdered because he's done a great job. He's really old now, and he doesn't really travel much. I don't even know that he's well anymore. He's got some time to rest and spend time in seclusion in monastery, and that's okay. But he's done a fantastic job in the world. And I think that we're going to see more monks doing that. I think it's going to be commonplace for monks to be speaking at like a United Nations, talking to world leaders, making negotiations between countries. I mean, think about that. You have these ambassadors that go and they try to negotiate deals, or the leaders will talk to each other and try to negotiate a deal. But they they know oftentimes these people are tricking them, lying to them, and so on. Wouldn't it be nice to negotiate with a person you know can't lie? That'd be something, right? Something certainly they're not used to today. But they can have that again with the monks. And I think monks are going to be regularly headed out to hospitals, to prisons, to poorhouses, to poor neighborhoods. They're going to be doing these things because that's what monks do. And I think it's gonna go there again. I think it's a slow process, and certainly declinism is not true. This is not a world that's getting worse and worse and worse. This is a world that's getting better, better, and better. This is the best time to be alive that's ever been. People have more shelter, more food, more protection, and more dignity as people than they've ever had before. More people have that. I'm not saying there aren't places where none of that's true, but in the world today, it's the best time because more people have that than ever before, that the world bends towards the light. There is not declinism. That's a trick of the mind where we like to remember things fondly and not remember the bad things. And so more towards recent history, the more and more bad memories they have. And so they think that the world is in decline instead of on the ascent. It's definitely on the ascent. It's a fantastic time to be alive, and it's getting better too right now. So I foresee it getting better for hundreds of years, that if not nearly 1,000. So yeah, look forward to the world becoming a great place. After that, things do tend to swing one way and then kind of swing the other. So we might have a little bit of a stall in the progression of humankind after that. But then it'll swing back forward again, because that's how the rhythms of the universe and certainly the world work. Well, I want to turn it over and ask if there's any question. If there's a question about the teaching of Buddha or this particular teaching or anything from the Buddhist perspective at all, I would be happy to answer. I'll give that a minute, see if there's a question. I hope you've been able to enjoy the altar today. I have some rose petals out there, and I have, in addition to the regular altar candles, I have 5 votive candles there. Kind of nice. I have the ambient light on also. And of course, as always, the nice tapestry behind there, kind of an Indian / bohemian type look to it. Very nice. A type of maybe mandala looking thing there in the middle. No, I'm not seeing any question, and I do want to make sure that these videos are short for consumption. People are less apt to watch a long video than they are a short one. So I will end it there then. I want to thank everybody for taking a look at this video, for having a listen. And if, there are disagreements, certainly let me know. And certainly you can check out other translations of that sutta and compare them with what you can find online of mine or at Monks of the Way. I don't know that I have them at the Monks of the Way website, and I really should take care of that now that I think about it. They're all over the internet and they're all over Facebook, but it would be nice to have them there also. Anyway, Ari Menard, Monks of the Way, for the weekly Truth Talk. And thanks once again for having a listen. I hope that the truth will remove the delusion in your life, the way that light removes darkness. And thanks again for having a listen.